Welcome back to Next Gen Investing. It's now time for a fun conversation, which is definitely well-timed considering we are on the brink of Thursday night football. But now we're discussing sports and private equity. And joining us for some more clarity on this is Stephen Olenick, the chair of sports and entertainment practice for Mintz. So Stephen, thank you so much for being with us today. We all, definitely have a huge interest in watching sports. We're in pinnacle right now sports viewership, but many don't typically think of sports as an asset class. So walk us through that thinking.
Oh, it's huge now. I feel like now you have people that are looking to have sports as their asset class when they look in terms of diversification. You have a lot of private equity money going into sports, and you get a lot of owners, high net worth individuals that are looking at this as almost like a premium, like where you can buy in to these unbelievable scarce assets where you look at them in terms of building a nice portfolio. There's so many opportunities to look at in terms of the sports, in terms of building out your portfolio. There could be such as big NFL opportunities within the National Football League. You could look at in terms of youth sports or college sports. I think the opportunities are unbelievable, and the opportunity for growth is there. And in terms of just pure marketplace, it could be $1 trillion to $2 trillion industry in the future.
Stephen, when you look at this space and you start to think about it, I always come back to, I believe it was the show Billions. It was talking about, hey, in Britain there's a royal family, but in the United States it's like the sports team owners are the country's royalty. And I think the point that it was trying to make is the point you're making, which is that these are both scarce but also somewhat vanity assets. But they've also just been extremely lucrative in terms of the net returns over the years. And I think oftentimes, too, we think of like a sole owner, whether it's a Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys or the Steinbrenner family and the Yankees. But the reality is it's these groups and these conglomerates of different types of sources. Talk to us about how that's evolving and what it looks like maybe now versus maybe what it looked like, 50 years ago.
Yeah, now you have everyone wanting to get in, all these private capital sources looking to get in, the Ares, you see the Apollos, the Sixth Streets. So you start to see all these people looking to get in because sports is such a growing asset class. If you start looking at what was there and then what is now, you have continually high net worth individuals, and you just highlighted it. There's scarcity amongst all these opportunities. Just look at professional sports, the 5 top leagues, including if you start looking at the NHL, NBA, MLB, Major League Soccer, and the NHL. There's only 154 opportunities. So if you start looking at that, the assets are very scarce. So now everyone's trying to buy at a value, right? Buy low, sell high. So you start seeing all of these capital sources looking to get in because of these opportunities and what you could potentially get. Look at the New York Giants where I sit. They just had a $10 billion valuation in terms of someone buying into that. So as you start to see it, you're going to start to see more of this and more opportunities for owners, either A, trying to take some chips off the table, or B, try to get people to overpay for these vanity type assets.
Okay, so I am curious because I am an avid NFL watcher, and so unfortunately I'm a Bears fan. I know all the records far too well, and so I got to say, go Bears, just for safe practice. Yeah, I know there really aren't words, but looking at some of the success of these various, sports as an asset, is that at all tied to the success of these franchises? Like I know the Cowboys are one of the most lucrative franchises out there, but fairly mixed season. Does that play into this at all?
Yeah, I think you look at all of these assets that, one, there's not that many. One, two, they're very limited. So then when you look at private equity or a high net worth individuals looking to invest within a team, because it's not just the team, it's all those ancillary businesses around it. The tech, the real estate. You look at the event space. Content is king. What do people want? They want attention. What can drive assets? What are eyeballs that will increase the ability to increase your valuation? Now you even have sports individuals, athletes taking equity within deals, whereby people will want to try to grant equity to various individuals in hopes of increasing the value of that specific opportunity. We're such in the beginning stages of this, and there's so many ancillary businesses that come off these opportunities. I think it's just at the beginning stages, first quarter of a four-quarter game per se.
Stephen, this is a really, really fun conversation, but it's also one that's different than other, let's say, vanity or scarce assets. You could think of things like, I don't know, really rare Rolex watches. You could think about artwork, and it's cool to have. It certainly has a value, and in some cases, that's value that's proven to appreciate over time. But we're also talking about revenue-generating franchises in the case of sports. So I'm sure this is another thing that really has these private equity players super interested in this space is they can invest in the experience. They can improve that. They can grow the brand. And these are all expertises that they already have and have applied to other businesses. So how is that changing, and how is private equity actually influenced success of different franchises?
Yeah, so like think about, just look at it in terms of, just look at it in the basics. Private equity firm provides capital. What do they attach themselves with? You brought the, say art, a Rolex, an opportunity that grows over, appreciates over time. Same with sports. What do you want to grab hold of? You want to grow at what various streams of capital, such as ticketing, merchandise. So there's these opportunities where you can invest within to grab hold of those cash flow streams. That's why I think as they grow and even look at the ancillary opportunities associated to it, there's various ways that you could capture actual pure revenue sources across the board, which will obviously drive value to the investor.
Okay, so really right now we're seeing an overall just interest right now, not only just like this as an asset, but also just, I think right now, sports ownership and some of the back end of that. I mean, right now, how is as far as investing in various leagues? We focused a lot on the NFL, obviously a bit of our interest, but outside of just the NFL, I mean, are there other massively lucrative leagues that are also catching your attention?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You see the NBA, you see the NHL. There's various capital sources. They're looking across all the major sports leagues to look at these opportunities. And I think because of the potential value and where it's going, but think about soccer. We have the World Cup coming. Both when you start looking at it in terms of an opportunity to invest now, so it's like you're buying low for the opportunity in the future to actually sell. Because like any of these deals, private equity, you have only a small window of time, and then more often than not, you have to exit.
All right, Stephen, final question here. This is a show for retail investors, self-directed in most cases, maybe active management. Are we moving towards a world where beyond the few outliers that you might have some sort of everyday public access to ownership of some of these different franchises and teams in your mind?
Well, you already have the opportunity with the Green Bay Packers, right? So I think this is a theme that potentially could be looked at even greater, but I think you're seeing the demand so high with a limited amount of ability to actually put your money in terms of the actual limited scarcity value of the opportunities. I think it's just going to get greater in terms of what type of alternative arrangements are we have for these select opportunities.
I couldn't agree more, and I will hold my own personal thoughts about the Packers. I'll keep those to myself. But we so appreciate your time today. Thank you so much, Stephen Olenick, chair of the sports entertainment practice at Mintz.